Well, good afternoon. This is another audio that Miss Crystal Lax, Lax, is doing. And it's going to be, I'm going to try to keep it brief, but every time I get a thought in my head, I may talk it out loud, but then I have to give it a message because there are some people going through some things that I've already been through. I'm 54 years old. I've raised my children. My children are 35, 34, 33, 32. And then I have 10 grandchildren. And I've been through some things that some people may be going through right now and some people may experience. And it's a situation with CPS. Honey, let me tell you something. You better be very careful how you treat other people because karma comes as a bitch. And you never know how karma may come at your door. While you being ugly and nasty and trying to worry about what's going on in my household, I don't have no minors under the age of 18. But you do. Some of you do have minors. Some of you are taking care of your nieces and nephew. Some of you are taking care of your grandbabies. And you got these minors in your house. While you're trying to act like children, you are not paying attention to your children. At the end of the day, I'm going to repeat this again for the adults that is so busy acting like children that you are not paying attention to the minors in your household. And that can be seen as neglect, abandonment, abuse, mental, emotional, and medical abuse, and education abuse. Some of your children skipping school because they teenagers, they doing whatever they want. You can be reliable for that. At the end of the day, you're sending them to school, but they skipping school. Guess who they coming after? They coming after you. They're coming after you. You neglecting their medical. You know that they need to go to the dentist. You know they need to go get their eyes checked. You know that they need to go get a checkup. But you so busy worrying about another woman's household that you are not managing your own household. That you so busy being busybody that you are not paying attention to your children. And while you're sitting up there trying to plot, plan all kind of evil, wicked, conspiring up against somebody else because you don't like how they walk, how they look, how they talk and stuff. Honey, at the end of the day, the universe have a way of bringing you what you put out in the universe. If you sow evilness, plot, plan, and all of that, what do you think gonna come eventually knocking at your door? Karma. Karma gonna come knocking back at your door. It is. It's called the law of attraction as well. What you sow into the universe, you shall also reap it back. And there should be a debt. Every time that you deposit evilness into the universe, it's collecting debt. After a while, the debt collector is going to come and collect the debt. That's as simple and easy as I can put it. Some of you call yourself being cute and catty and petty with other women, with myself, with other women. But watch what you do and how you mistreat people. The Bible says that be aware of how you entertain strangers because some have entertained angels unknowingly. Watch what you do and watch what you saying about people, how you slandering people name. Because let me tell you about CPS, honey. Once when CPS get in your life, you can forget it. They're going to investigate your little boyfriends. How many men do you bring around your children? And that's something that some of you young girls do. You bring all kind of men around your children. You ain't paying attention to your sons and your daughter. They may be trying to get close to you so they can get close to those children. You don't know, do you even do background check on each man that you bring around your children? Have you ever done any kind of background research on them? Or are you just so hot and bothered, all you thinking about is you looking good and attracting a man to you for your own personal selfish gratification. But at the end of the day, you could be bringing a pedophile to your home. You could be bringing a child molester, a child rapist, a child pedophile to your home. Of course, they're not going to let you know, hey, I'm a pedophile. But at the end of the day, it can be a female pedophile or it can be a male. It's just pedophiles at the end of the day. And while you sit up there, well, I trust him with my kids. While you're away, they are abusing your child, your children at the end of the day. And then you're going to have an issue with CPS. You can be also taking your kid to school. A teacher can see a mark, or a teacher can see anything that looks out of the ordinary and report it to CPS. They are mandated now to report that. Doctors and teachers, they are mandated to report your ass. While you're sitting up here being cute about other women, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed when it comes to your children. At the end of the day, even when you're taking your children to public schools, honey, those teachers, at the end of the day, they still work for the government. It's still a government state public school. So at the end of the day, these are state officials working around your children. And you never know when they are corruptly aiming for your children. Even though you don't did everything and you know that you went beyond, you know that I don't abuse my children. I try to keep them in school, try to keep up with their medical and everything. Sometimes your children are aimed because they trying to get paid. It's CPS corruption. Do you know that if you did your research, if you do your research, do you know that I was reading in the state of Arizona that they're required to have 15,000 children? So look how many children that they have to scoop out of the arms and hands of mothers and fathers and grandmothers to meet that quota in order for them to continue to get the federal funds. And some are so focused on federal funded. Have you ever just sit back and wonder, now this woman, we all see that this woman is neglectful towards her children. Kids ain't eating, the kids is running around dirty, snot nose, and the house is unclean. And where is CPS in a time of this? It seems like CPS aim for the parents that is working hard, that is trying to have well-behaved children. There's something about well-behaved children, and it's something about the age of, between the age of 7 and 8. It's something about that age range, but they will go for the minor. They will go for newborns as well, especially if the children are black, especially if the children are biracial, is a hot commodity right there. Or white children with the American blue, blonde hair and blue eyes. Beautiful children. Do you know that some pedophiles work as CPS worker or child advocates? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. What better way to get close to a child than to be working with the children? I wouldn't even call it a message. I would just a sharing point at the end of the day. Some of them, I'm going to tell you, some of them, once they open up a case, you can forget it. They ain't going nowhere. They're not going nowhere. And especially if you're in a domestic violence situation, your children will be taken away from you immediately. Now, they have justification of that. I'm talking about both ends. I'm talking about innocent, how it can be your children can be wrongfully taken from you. But then I'm also saying it from two perspectives as well. Why they need to take children from parents. Okay? Why they need to take children from parents in the domestic violence, because the children is seeing the violence. The children is hearing the violence. It bears emotional and mental abuse on the child. How many of us have seen your mother or a woman get beat by a man? It really leaves post-traumatic stress disorder on you at a young age because it's traumatizing. Especially if it's violently abuse, it's traumatizing. Or especially if you're hearing them argue every night and you're hearing the dressers being overthrown and you're becoming frightened and you're scared as a child. That's justification for them to take your children. Your first reaction is going to be anger. That's going to be your first reaction. But you're not looking at the whole picture from their professional point of view. Their job is to get children out of harm way. Okay? I'm just going to break it down to you, truthfully, from their point of view, because I'm a paralegal. So as a paralegal, you have to see things from two perspectives. Okay. So on a professional grounds, they have to take children out of domestic situation. And if you keep going back to your abuser, you can forget it. They're going to try to move for adopting the children permanently from you. Because at the end of the day, if your abuser is not really trying to get help and it makes the home an unsafe environment, that's unsafe for the children to live in. So their job is to find safety for the children. Does that make sense? I hope that it makes sense to you, because a lot of you young mothers are having children and they are minors, but you're in abusive situations. You're in, rather he verbal abuse you, take money from you where you're not buying food, or take your food stamps from you where you cannot provide for the children, and the county is giving you money to take care of these children. They're giving you TANF, but you're letting your boyfriend take all of the money from your children. Okay? If you are neglecting your children, that means I would rather go out and party than to take care of my children. I want to dump my children off on anybody that will take them in so I can go out and party. Do you know that that's neglect? It's neglect. When you're dropping your child off on anybody, do you know their background? Have you done a background check? Do you know how they are with children? When you're away, are they touching your child? Are they abusing your child? Are they verbally hurting or verbally cussing your child out? Even with daycare centers, you have to do your due diligence and really research the daycare centers as well, because some of those workers have been known to abuse the children. I see that a lot of some young people, some young women especially, because the children tend to be with the mother more than the father. And I see that some young women, you're so busy with Instagram and all of this social media to the point that, are you paying attention to your children, or are you just you're just so caught up in all of these people worshiping your beauty that you become so self-absorbed and so narcissistic into yourself that you are not paying attention to your minor children? At the end of the day, neglect. Or you're so busy getting high or so busy getting drunk all the time that you're not feeding your children. You're not keeping them clean and upkept. So therefore your children is going out in the public eye around neighbors and everyone to see that the children are not clean, that the children look hungry, that the children's hair looks unkept. Telling you, I try to keep my kids, when they was younger especially, try to keep them clean and everything, the hair on tap and everything. Really, seriously. Because people do watch you and watch your children, exactly, and see what type of mother or see what type father you are to your children, right? Okay. I grew up in an era where beating your child was the thing, iron cords, everything, and so we tend to adopt what we have been trained. So I started doing that to my children, and then I started realizing, damn, I'm turning into my damn mom. Really, seriously, real talk. So I was like, so I had to tell myself, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to hurt my children. Okay? I don't want to be beaten on my children like my children is a slave. So I started taking parenting class. All right? To change that, to change the program. All right? Let's see. CPS, let's go on some things. They once they open a case, they're going to tell you that you have X amount of day, you have a hearing that you have to attend. You have to attend it. If you don't, that's neglect, that's abandonment. I'm trying to tell you, they're going to put it on you. And then they're going to give you a case plan. The case plan sometimes could be between 3 months to 6 months. Sometimes they'll give you that plan that to get this done: parenting class, anger management, attend domestic violence courses, find if you're homeless and your child was taken because of homelessness, don't have a adequate place to stay with your children. They're going to tell you that you have X amount of time to land a place to stay, to get employment. So they're going to give you a case plan. Your best thing to do is to comply as much as possible. Really. Just follow the case plan and try to work with the worker as possible. But then I must tell you, on the other end, don't get too damn friendly with them, because everything you say will be used against you. Everything you do will be used against you. They will put that stuff in writing. You understand me? They will put it down in writing. So if you got an advocate, if you got an attorney working with you, it's best to let the attorney be with you, or to talk on your behalf when you dealing with them. Get your videos ready, get your proof ready. Have your evidence of what they say, how they saying it to you. Really? Because I used to be unarmed until I learned to record their ass in meetings and stuff. I started recording. Now I let them know that this meeting is being recorded. Okay. Let's see. They CPS. They give you your case plan. They used to work on reunification. Now, I don't know. Maybe in some places they try hard to get the child back to some kind of family or family reunion, or to reunite the child back with the parents, But some is after this incentive bonus that they get off of children and federal funds, to the point where you think that you're going to be reunited with your child and something else comes up, or your housing inspection never come through, because they will come in. Let me tell you how it works. They're going to come to your door. You do have a right not to let them in, but you have to show them the child, that the child is not in imminent danger. Okay? Like, here's the child. If you're not at home, they're going to leave you a card for you to contact that caseworker. It's best for you to contact them as soon as possible, as soon as you get that notification. Sometimes you may get surprised. You thinking that you're going to go pick your child up. I'm telling you, my life experience, or some teacher done said something or noticed some kind of behavior in your child, behavior in your child, just talking too much, or just seem too hypertension, or all of these things, and you as a parent just got off work, going to go pick your kids up from school, and all of a sudden your kids ain't there at school. CPS have came to the school and snatched your kids out of school. Do you know how that feel as a parent? Where's my kids at? Why did you take my kids? Well, you're going to have to call the caseworker that's handling the case. What? What? I'm at work. I'm working for my kids. I'm tired. And I come here. Why did you take my kids? One teacher said that my daughter was rolling all over the floor, and that showed her a sign of some form of a problem child. Like, you white bitch. And I'm telling you. It's like, what are you talking about, rolling all over the floor? Ain't nothing wrong with my child. And that doesn't even seem like my child rolling all over the floor. Ain't nothing wrong with my child. The doctor told me, the pediatrician told me I got perfect, healthy children. Okay? Sometimes those teachers be messing with certain parents. Now I'm doing the other side. When you're target, and when your family is aimed and being target. It seems like the teacher and the principals, they're all in conspiring about you and your children. I had a neighbor. It's amazing when you doing shady stuff to people, because they can call in on you. They ain't even got to give a name. All they got to do is report you being neglectful and abusive towards your child, and they gonna come out and investigate those phone calls and those claims, even though it's against the law to give forth false CPS reports. But people still do it out of vengeance, out of viciousness. And I had a neighbor downstairs in an apartment that was calling CPS. If she wasn't calling the housing authority, she was calling CPS. And it's like, oh my God, this damn lady, I'm about ready to fight this lady, really. And so CPS would come out to the house. They will go through your house, inspect and make sure that everything is clean, safe for the child. Child is in a clean, safe environment. That make sure that you have adequate food, enough food for the child. They inspect that, your cabinets, your refrigerator. I didn't have no problem because I really shopped with my food stamps for my kid. Everything that I got, I used it towards what I needed it for. If I got TANF when I wasn't working, then I used it for that. If I got food stamps, I would shop my ass off to the point where I have the store clerk rolling her eyes at me because I got 3 baskets filled. But I wanted to make sure I had to run in with CPS so much that I learned to fill up those cabinets, and mainly beans, rice, noodles. I mean, just stack up. You can always get the junk food later, but just to keep your cabinets filled, get those spaghetti, get the rice, get the beans, just stack up on all that type of stuff, really, so that they see that the kids got more than enough for you to fix them something to eat with, okay? Even if you got to get big bags of flour and sugar, that stuff going to last you some months, really. You got to do like the old women's did back in the days. They got those big bags of flour, big bag of sugar, honey. They barely ran out of stuff. And so they're going to go through your house, and they're going to check to make sure that it's clean. They're going to check to see where the kids sleep at. They're going to check to see if you got food for the kids. If you give them permission to come in, then, and you don't have nothing to worry about, offer them a cup of coffee. Would you like something to drink, some soda, coffee, tea, because I don't have nothing to hide at all. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got nothing to hide, you don't have nothing to worry about. So the CPS worker went through my house, And she was like, nothing wrong with the kids. She said, do you whoop them? I said, yes, I do. I spank my children. And I use a switch down south. We was using the switch. She said, well, you can do that as long as you don't leave a mark on your children. You know what I'm saying? So at